Snow fell softly over the quiet town of Red, hollow on New Year's Eve. Lanterns flickered in the cold wind, and laughter echoed from the small saloon where people gathered to welcome a new year. But outside, standing alone beneath the dim streetlight, was Elena Carter. Her thin coat did little to shield her from the cold, and her eyes carried the weight of betrayal. Just hours earlier, the man she was supposed to marry had abandoned her for someone richer. Whispers had spread quickly. She's unlucky. No one will marry her now. Elena clenched her hands. She refused to cry. That's when a deep voice broke the silence. Cold night to be alone. She turned. A tall man stood a few steps away, wearing a worn-out coat, boots covered in dust, and a hat shadowing his face. He looked like nothing more than a struggling rancher. "I'm fine," Elena replied, her voice steady. "Name's Daniel Hayes," he said calmly. "And I need a wife." She blinked. "Excuse me?" "I don't have time for fancy words," he continued. "I live alone. Got land, a small house, and work that never ends. I need someone strong. Not perfect. Just real." Elena let out a bitter laugh. "You don't even know me." Daniel looked straight at her. "I know what it feels like to be left behind." Silence stretched between them. Inside the saloon, the countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Daniel extended his hand. "Marry me tonight. Start over, no lies." Elena stared at him. A stranger. A poor rancher. No promises of wealth. No grand life. But there was something else, honesty. 3, 2, 1. Fireworks burst in the sky. Elena took his hand. "Okay. The journey begins." They left town before midnight. No celebration. No ceremony. Just two broken souls riding into the snowy night. The road was long and silent. Hours passed and Elena finally spoke. "I thought you said you had a small ranch." "I do," Daniel replied. "But we've been riding for hours." He didn't answer. That's when she noticed something strange. They weren't heading toward the poor outskirts of town. Instead, they approached a massive iron gate hidden between tall trees. Elena frowned. "Where are we?" Daniel stepped down and opened the gate. Home. The secret revealed. As they entered, Elena's breath caught in her throat. Before her stood not a small ranch, but a grand hidden mansion. Warm golden lights glowed from tall windows. Horses grazed on vast land. The snow-covered estate stretched as far as the eye could see. Elena stepped back in shock. "You said you were poor." Daniel removed his hat. "I said I live alone. I never said I was poor." "Then why lie?" "I didn't lie," he said quietly. "I hid the truth." She looked at him, confused and hurt. "Why?" Daniel's expression darkened slightly. "Because every woman I met before only saw this place, and not me." He gestured toward the mansion. They wanted the wealth, the comfort, the name. None of them stayed when things got hard. Elena's voice softened. "So you tested me?" "I gave you a choice," he replied. "Walk away from nothing, or take a chance on something real." She turned, looking again at the mansion. It wasn't just wealth. It was a life, a future, and suddenly she understood. "You didn't save me," she said quietly. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "No? You gave me a choice when I had nothing left." For the first time, a faint smile appeared on his face. A new beginning. Inside, the mansion was warm and alive, yet strangely empty. "No family?" Elena asked. Daniel shook his head. "Not anymore." She didn't push further. Instead, she walked toward the fireplace, warming her hands. "This place is too big for one person," she said. Daniel leaned against the wall. "That's why I asked you." Elena turned to him. "No lies now?" "No lies." She nodded. "Then we start as strangers and build something real." Daniel stepped closer. "Agreed." Months later, spring arrived, melting the snow and breathing life into the land. The once silent mansion was no longer empty. Laughter echoed through the halls. Fields were alive with workers. Horses ran freely. And in the center of it all, Elena and Daniel stood side by side. Not as strangers anymore, but as partners. One evening, as the sun set over the hills, Elena looked at him and smiled. "You know, if you had told me the truth that night, I would have walked away." Daniel smirked slightly. "I know." She took his hand. "I'm glad you didn't." Final line. Sometimes the greatest love stories don't begin with wealth or promises. They begin with nothing. and a choice to believe in something real.